a powerful book by Rebecca Solnit. She says, "Hope is an embrace of the unknown. We may be living through times of unprecedented change, but in uncertainty lies the power to influence the future. Now is not the time to despair, but to act." I couldn't agree with her more. Considering the growing climate crisis, mounting threats to the Amazon's irreplaceable ecosystems, attacks on women, children, immigrants, our communities, we have every reason to despair, but we can't. We must take action and make change just as many have done before us, and we are. That's why we're here. We're taking action for change, even when the change seems impossible or foolish. That is inspiration. At Amazon Watch, we are honored to work side by side with some of the most inspiring and courageous people on the planet. Indigenous people who are protecting their rainforest homes and their rights to land and self-determination amidst serious threats at incredible odds. They are inspiring people like Jeremias, our special guest of honor from deep in the Peruvian Amazon. And when I say deep, I'm not kidding. I've been there. Jeremias, it took Jeremias about a week to get here. It takes about 3 to 4 days from his community just to get to the nearest town, and then another day or 2 to get to Lima, and then another overnight flight to get here. As you heard, Jeremias and the Achuar people are achieving the monumental task of protecting 2 million acres of primary rainforest from oil drilling and roads. This is about 3 times the size of Yosemite National Park. And unlike a national park, they have another model for conservation. They have a life plan that strives to keep their ancestral territory permanently protected, free from the ravages of oil drilling, and as is pushed by companies like GeoPark. Considering the Achuar's impressive track record and victories in the face of some of the world's most powerful industries, I'm certain that they will be victorious. And this victory will not only be for them, as he said, it will serve as an important precedent for indigenous nationalities and forest peoples across Peru and around the world. We stand with the Achuar and other indigenous peoples because they are among society's most effective change makers, inspirations to all of us who are striving for justice in these challenging times. We also stand with women leaders and defenders of the Amazon, like Salome Aranda. She is the woman leader of the Quechua Association of Moretecocha in the Ecuadorian Amazon. Please take a moment to look at her face. It's a face of courage and resilience. She's featured on the cover of our annual publication to honor her determination and humility in resistance to oil drilling on her people's lands, which has resulted in violent threats and attacks upon her and her Amazon sisters. I met Salome the first time this year when I traveled to the Ecuadorian Amazon to join the women defenders of the Amazon against extraction to march on International Women's Day. Over 500 women from 11 different nationalities marched in the Amazon and then traveled to Quito to demand a meeting with the president. I was with them and I witnessed their determination. And they were successful. After days of protests, the president agreed to meet with the women. It was a historic moment for grassroots indigenous Amazonian women, as this was the first time space had been made for them to hear directly from them about the environmental, cultural, and social impacts caused by the oil industry, including sexual and domestic violence. During the meeting, the women demanded that the almost all-male cabinet look them directly in the eyes. After the president wiped away tears and agreed to conduct an investigation of the allegations, from the Amazon to the elevators in Washington, D.C., women are saying, "Don't you look away from me." Since then, Salome and her community have been under attack in direct response to her organizing. The women defenders are standing with her, and so are we. We've supported various assemblies she's organized and recently led workshops in a 2-week training of women defenders led by Patricia Walinga, Kichwa from Sarayaku, and our allies at Fundación Tiam. Many of you have met Patricia at previous events. She too has been threatened. But as she says, I'm not scared. I'm empowered by the women coming together in unity. What a beautiful example of hope and inspiration in darkness. And speaking of Sarayaku, I must say that they have been and continue to be such a source of hope and inspiration to many in the Amazon and around the world. In July, they launched their visionary Kausaksacha, or Living Forest proposal to the world, and their proposal calls for a new category of protection of their living forest, free from industrial extraction, in recognition of the need to protect all life, whether it be indigenous peoples, the sacred beings, and the rights of nature. We are proud to be part of the on-the-ground and international efforts to permanently protect the sacred headwaters of the Amazon with Confenyai and IDASEP and Pachamama Alliance, some of you who are here tonight. The Sacred Headwaters is a vast region of 60 million acres encompassing indigenous territories from the Napo and Marañón rivers in Peru and Ecuador. It has long been a vision of the indigenous peoples on both sides of the border to reunite their nationalities and territories, because they know that we can't fight these battles block by block and company by company. They are calling for permanent protection and pushing their governments to leave an estimated 4.5 billion barrels in the ground. And we are proud to stand with a growing international movement calling for no new extraction, a managed decline of fossil fuels, and a just transition to 100% renewable energy. How many of you were in San Francisco for the Rise for Climate March on September 8th? Over 30,000 people marched, led by California Native peoples, indigenous peoples of the North and South, and grassroots communities on the front lines of climate change. Thank you, all of you who participated, and all of you who spent months organizing this. Izzy, Zoe, Maria, Idle No More SFB, 350.org, RAN, We Can, so many more. Thank you so much for all of your work to make this happen, for all of us. We marched with indigenous allies from the Amazon and the Browns Last Chance Coalition, calling for no new extraction from California to the Amazon. And throughout the week, we coordinated and participated in dozens of events inside and outside the GCAS, or the Global Climate Action Summit. While it was reassuring to finally see more recognition for the critical role of forests and forest stewards in maintaining climate stability, it was disappointing that there was no commitment to address the main driver of our climate crisis, fossil fuel extraction. Considering that over 20,000 new fossil fuel permits were granted right here in California in the last 8 years, and new permits are continuing to be issued to allow dirty tar sands to be refined right here in the Bay, we need to take action to stop this. This is our moment to stand up to this. And also, considering that over 50% of the oil exported from the Amazon comes right here to California, we are campaigning to end Amazon crude, once and for all. And we will do this with our allies in the Amazon by resisting all new oil developments. And just as the Achuar have done, we will work to permanently protect the rainforest. But we will also use new strategies and work with new allies to achieve these goals. Last week, we joined allies at the Sunrise Coalition in launching BlackRock's Big Problem, a campaign taking on BlackRock, the world's biggest financier of fossil fuels and climate destruction. This follows the release of our report exposing BlackRock and JP Morgan Chase for their role in financing Amazon destruction. And another report and campaign that we launched. Following a year of intense on-the-ground investigations, we released a groundbreaking new report just a few weeks ago called Complicity in Destruction. It exposes a new wave of industrial expansion in the Brazilian Amazon, which is causing massive deforestation and human rights violations. It's being driven by the ultra-conservative congressional bloc in Brazil known as the Ruralistas, who want to profit by opening up the Amazon's forest to agribusiness, industrial mining, and dams by slashing laws protecting the environment and indigenous rights. Sound familiar? Our new campaign confronts the roots of the problem and the assaults on the Amazon by targeting these emblematic actors and transnational corporations that are tied to them, like Coca-Cola and financiers like BlackRock. We're shining the spotlight on their destructive agenda with new forms of leverage by targeting the global economic relationships that are challenging and threatening the rainforests. This is no small feat, but we believe in our strength and our allies. Just a few years ago, the rivers of the Brazilian Amazon were threatened by hundreds of dams. And everybody said, it's a lost cause. Don't fight these dams, the lost cause. But I'm happy to say that now there are no new plans for mega dams in the Brazilian Amazon. This is a testament to our organizing. This is a testament to the on-the-ground resistance and solutions and the international campaigning by Amazon Watch and so many more organizations. This is our mission. This is our purpose.